Good morning. How are you? Good to see you. Good morning. It's Kirsten Liebelt, and it is Thursday. And that actually, to me, so I wake up this morning and I'm like, so it's Thursday. That means it's day 4 of the 5-day challenge. So that's what's in my brain. I don't know if that's what's in your brain, but that's okay. So if you don't know, we have a 5-day challenge. We do it every single month, and it's in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And so today is day 4. Yesterday, you guys, we did pantry and fridge reveal. If you've never been on one of those, it's super simplistic and it's just a visual of what we're doing. So how is everybody doing on Thursday? How are you doing? I woke up this morning and I'm a little chilly because my air conditioning was making me cold. So I just took off a sweatshirt. I'm like, I know it's probably not cold outside. Like, I'm in Minnesota. I actually haven't even checked, but I'm just saying, like, that fall feeling, all of a sudden I'm like, I want coffee in the morning. I want warm things. Like, I put socks on. What in the world? Oy vey, oy vey. Okay, so good to see you guys. If you've never seen any of my content before, which is highly likely, especially on TikTok, my name is Kirsten Liebelt, and I was raised by a type 2 insulin-dependent dad. And that was my entire life. Like, that was all I ever knew. And I watched his health decline until he died at 63. And for a good 10 years, his health was not great, at least. And I just decided I wanted a different life. And so he took the route of medication. I took the route of supplementation. I'm the only one in my family now at 59 that has avoided type 2 diabetes. No meds, no nothing. And good morning, Magda. Good morning, sweetie. Good to see you. And you know, it has been a really, really great journey. And it took me a really long time to be able to get enough courage and guts to come online and talk to people about this. But now what I do know is that I can help. I specifically, in my group, it's for women, but I don't have just female customers. But in the group, I know that I can help women compress time. And I know that I can help them make the connection between insulin resistance and the inability to lose weight, which is a really big piece of the puzzle, even though there are so many other pieces of the puzzle, because obviously insulin resistance in my belief system and everything that I've been like studying, you know, because I'm not a doctor, but I just kind of like started studying a lot of people, Dr. Ken Berry and Dr. Eric Berg and Maria Emmerich and whatever. And the truth is that it's like, it literally is if this is the start of all of our problems, this is insulin resistance. That's literally what this looks like in our world. And so I'm just like, why are we being given scripts for absolutely everything in our world, and nobody in the provider field in general? I have to be in general, right? Because I don't know not every provider is poor, but why are they not talking to you about this right here? Like, why is this not the conversation? This drives me every day to get up and talk to you guys about it, because it's literally the precursor for everything. So when we do the challenge in the group, which is Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, I talk about insulin resistance, but then I do really practical things. Like, I want to talk to you about ingredient trade-outs, because as an Italian girl, that was a big deal for me. I want to show you my pantry. I want to show you my refrigerator. I want to teach you how to make a recipe. I want to teach you how to fish. That is literally my whole goal. And so today we're doing targeted supplementation in the group, because I was not a supplementer. This was not my world at all. But once I understood that connection between turning back the ship of insulin resistance and losing weight, I was like, I'm all in. I'm all in, sister. That was my whole conversation in my head. And you know what? I went on to lose 3 sizes in my 50s. So there's a basic 3 supplements that helped me to do that. That's the trio that I talk about. But then I am now somebody who literally is like, I won't say it today because I said it yesterday. So only once a week can I really bring that up. I'm just going to say, go jump in a lake to the providers. That's what I'm going to say, to the medical matrix that wants to only give me scripts or only tell me, thank you for the hearts. James, good to see you. Nice to be part of you. Oh, very, very nice. And so basically, hold on just a second. So you guys, it's just absolutely amazing to me how we can how we can go ahead and turn things around so easily by changing the way that we are supplementing, changing the way that we are eating our food. Like this just does not even have to be hard. This does not have to be hard at all. Good morning, Mary. Good to see you. Very good to see you. So that's basically what I wanted to be able to do. Okay, hold on. All right, make sure I'm not missing anything. We are good to go. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about something because I know there's a lot of confusion and I try so hard to make everything extremely streamlined. So like yesterday when we were in the pantry, basically what I'm teaching when I teach ingredient trade outs, it's like, think about your pantry for just a second. Just get this in your head. Your pantry, basically, if you're wanting to make, let's say cookies, say you were raised on Nestle Toll House cookies, right? Flour, sugar, oil. Trade out your flours, your sugars, and your oils. That's what we went over yesterday in the group. Or sorry, on Tuesday. Then on yesterday, I showed you the actual trade outs out of my pantry. How did I do that? Blah, blah, blah. All right. So that's as streamlined as I can get. The second thing that I would probably say to people is if you eliminate grains, or I should say, when you eliminate grains, you are eliminating 88, this is my made up statistic. You are eliminating 88% of all of your problems. You're eliminating because without grain, how do you have a lot of highly processed foods? You don't. It's not as much. You eliminate massive amounts of chemicals. You eliminate massive amounts of gut issues. You eliminate massive amounts of sugar spikes. You eliminate massive amounts of whatever. So first thing is think flour, sugar, oil, trade them out. That's what we did. Then think eliminate grains, because even then that gets rid of high fructose corn syrup in all of the products, because corn is a grain. And should we be eating corn if it can be made into syrup? Who can tell me that answer? Just kidding. Good morning, Sherry. You just had an earthquake in Southern California. Shut the front door, Sherry. Get out. That is definitely one thing that we do not deal with in Minnesota. However, we do have tornadoes. Is everybody okay? Was it huge? Was it a massive earthquake? Was it a little one? Not that I probably would not differentiate. I would think that no matter what, it was massive. I'd be like, I'm going back to Minnesota. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Thank you for telling me that though. I would love to hear more if everybody's okay. Mary says it's a 4.7. Holy shnikey, you guys. That's not teeny tiny, is it? 5.0, Sherry says. Wow, you guys. Freaky. Yeah. Isn't that interesting how the earth just makes me think of a, let's see if I can remember. It makes me think of a verse where it says that the earth groans for the sons and the daughters of God to rise up or something like that. I'm saying that wrong, but it makes me think of that where the earth just literally talks to us that way. She's correct, 4.7. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Wow, you guys, just blessings and blessings and blessings on Southern California. Amazing. Okay, so back to the conversation. So grains is number 2 because you eliminate so much. And number 3, if I had to start bringing one in, it's because of conversations that are happening now in my DMs. It's don't think that beans are okay. Now I understand. I mean, I guess I didn't think that this was as big of a conversation, but it's kind of starting to become one because people are super into hummus. People are super into, I don't know. I'm not really sure. So maybe we'll talk about it and maybe I'll find out that it's not as big of a deal. Okay. But if I give you information, then at least you are armed. You are armed and dangerous. That's what you are today. All right. So we're going to get into it. Basically, when you are talking about, wrong one, right one. When you're talking about eating beans, I want to give you a quick rundown of the grams of carbs that are in each cup of beans. Now remember, you can be insulin resistant for a long time. There's so many factors, you guys. I'm super streamlined and basic. If you want deeper information and understanding, go and study people like Dr. Eric Berg, Dr. Ken Berry, Maria Emmerich. Like, I'm basic land. I'm trying to talk to the people on a very basic level. Like, this is my whole goal, because I'm not a scientist. I got like a C in, biology. Like, I'm not a doctor, but I have just studied enough so that I can understand, why did my dad die when he was on all of those meds? Like, weren't the 21st century meds supposed to be amazing? What happened with this story? Like, he had a lazy Susan full of meds as he was dying at 63 because of type 2 diabetes, not even a terminal diagnosis. That's where this all started for me. I'm like, what's going on? What is up with this? Lots of type 2 and obesity in my Italian family. Okay. This was like everywhere. And all I ever heard as a child was, it's genetic. It's genetic. It's a BS. I know. We have predispositions and all that good stuff. But for the most part, this is a diet related disease, right? It's a hormonal imbalance. Insulin is a hormone. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. So when I'm talking about insulin resistance, if you are insulin resistant and your insulin is high and you keep on eating things that spike your sugars, your insulin wants to use the glucose for fuel. It's how your body is designed. So it's going to go gobble, gobble, gobble up the sugar that you're eating. And it doesn't have to be sugar from a Snickers bar or, a Frappuccino or something like that. It can literally be, it's food that's turned into sugar. So it's either turned into a little bit of sugar or a lot of sugar for energy. So it gobbles it and it takes it into your cell. But when your cell can't receive that anymore, when your fat cells are stuffed and they say no more, that's what insulin resistance is. So you have to fix what got you into the pickle to begin with. You have to stop giving it high sugar spiking foods. Now, I'm going to say this on the onset. I understand the noise of net carbohydrates. Isn't that just a quaint little marketing ploy to get everybody to chase their freaking tails? Well, if you eliminate this and you multiply this and you divide this and you blah, blah. No. Just stop it. In my opinion, because of listening to people like Maria Emmerich, you will make your life so much easier, so much more streamlined, and you will actually get results. But you are stopping yourself potentially from getting results that you want because you're paying so much attention to the marketing. That was me. Why do you think I talk about this stuff? I'm just talking to myself 10 years ago. Y'all, I'm talking to y'all as though you are me 10 years ago. That's all I'm doing, right? Because I did all the same thing. So when they say net carbs only, just stop it. Just look at the actual carbs, and because this is the factor that you don't know, unless you have a continuous glucose monitor. What you don't know is how your body is going to respond. So they want you to think that everybody's body is going to be the same. That's not true. There are many factors that go into how your body responds to eating something. That's why when you have the guys on TikTok, who I love them, they have the continuous glucose monitors on and they eat food, and then they show you over 2 hours what happens to their blood sugar. And they'll say something like, well, that was disappointing. I was not expecting that to rise so high with me. I'm not even insulin resistant or type 2 diabetic. So they're letting you know, listen, I'm actually metabolically flexible and it did this to me. That then means that if you're further down the road on the spectrum, you aren't as metabolically flexible. So don't take their word for something on something that they're doing on a body that's not type 2 or insulin dependent. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Like, you have to understand there are factors that go into how things affect you. So this is a really great way for us to be able to gauge things. And so beans, no bueno. I'm going to get into it right now. Magda, oh, it's a huge deal. Hummus, I know. Bean salad, bean soup. Oh my gosh, I love beans. I'm Hispanic. Beans could be my last name. Don't worry, I gave it up. Oh, Magda, isn't it challenging? Seriously, you guys. But I'm going to tell you something right now on the onset, just because it just came to my brain. I think that Maria Emmerich, in fact, I know she does. I've not made it, but you could make it, Magda, if you haven't. She has a recipe on her website for refried beans that are being made out of eggplant. And people swear by it. People who love refried beans swear that this is a phenomenal recipe. So go to mariamindbodyhealth.com, mariamindbodyhealth.com. Or maybe she's Keto Maria now. Yeah, I think you can go to both. I'm used to her older website, doesn't matter. And just put in refried beans and try one of her recipes because she is an ingredient trade out genius. That's why I love her. Okay. Kathy, you've been type 2 since 1997. Yeah. Yep. I hear you. I'm so grateful that I avoided it. You used to live out there and you have been through yep. Okay. So you used to live out in California, Mary. Yep. You guys, earthquake in California, Southern California, 4.7 today. Yikes. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Okay. All right. So if anybody wants to jump over on TikTok and tap the screen, that'd be great. But you don't have to. I'm just saying that if you would, that'd be great. But beans, the only bean that I personally would eat, you'll check it out, Magda. Yeah, I would love to know. I'd love for you to try it. Okay, you know what, Magda? I'm going to look it up when I get off. Maybe that's what I'll make for the recipe tomorrow in the group. I'll go look it up when I get off. The only bean that I would personally eat are green beans, but I'm going to tell you why. This is a huge, huge difference. Green beans have 7 grams of carbs per cup. Okay. Let's get into the fun other ones because this is like Magda said. Hummus, bean salad, bean soup. She's Hispanic. Beans could be her last name. And she gave them up. She gave them up. Okay. All right. Black beans, 41 grams per cup. Kidney, 40. Chickpeas, hummus, 45. Pinto, 45. Lentils, 40. Navy beans, 47. These are large numbers. Now, 1 cup of beans. Now, what if you're supposed to only have 20 to 30 grams of carbs a day? Because you've got goals. You've got goals to get your sugars down. You've got goals to actually lose weight. When your insulin and your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. You can't lose weight. This is frustrating. This is why we stay on this, because they market it to us and they tell us that this is a better choice and this is a better choice and this is keto friendly and this is net carbs and blah, blah, blah. And yet on the back end, our sugars are spiking and we're totally stuck. And the reason why is because your body is going to burn sugar first. Gobble, 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 gobble. It's going to, like a Pac-Man, it's going to gobble up your sugar first. And if you always are giving it sugar, all in the name of, but these were net carbs. These were supposed to be like better because of the fiber, blah, blah, blah. No. That's not a good enough answer. And it's actually stalling people's weight out, right? So instead, you do have to find alternatives. And I know that it can be challenging and I'm sorry, but the truth is that if I go and I look at this eggplant refried bean recipe, it's the spices. So somehow she's recreating the texture, but it's the spices that are going to make it taste like what you're wanting it to taste like anyway. So you're deconstructing it. Yes, do the recipe, she says. That's the link for the refried bean. Okay, thank you. Mary, you guys are on it like that. You are on it. Okay, I will look at it. That's definitely one I was going to do. I don't want to get too far off on this one, but I was going to do like a cabbage roll soup. And I'm going to be honest, like I was going to post it last night in the group. And then I went, oh, I just had this feeling inside of me. Like it just wasn't what I wanted to do right now. And it was kind of almost lame. So this is maybe a better answer anyway. So see, this is how that goes. I'm just paying attention. Which recipe? Julie, there is a recipe on Maria Emmerich's website. And I usually go to mariamindbodyhealth.com. And she does refried beans, but it's made out of eggplant. And I'm thinking about making it in the group tomorrow for the recipe day for the challenge. We do a 5-day challenge. Okay. So the other piece I'm going to go, let's see, I'll go this way. So oftentimes people are thinking that they need to be gluten-free, right? Well, I always say Gluten-free is not good enough if you're insulin resistant. You have to be grain-free. But gluten-free can also mean sometimes that you're using beans, like a lentil flour. And so neither one, grain or beans in that regards, way too high in carbohydrates and spiking, right? Sometimes they're used for thickeners. So this is where when you get into the restaurants, you don't know what they're using to thicken something or whatever. And sometimes you just, you're on vacation and you're going to let it go maybe, and you're not going to worry about it because you're thinking, okay, well, it's either thickened with beans or white flour. Like you're not sure. I try to avoid that stuff because I just know that that's a line, but sometimes you just don't know what they're using to thicken things. And then sometimes they'll be using like a chickpea flour. So I'm just telling you, grains or beans being used for flour, etc., not good. Not only do they cause bloating and digestive issues, which we already know that, and I only bring that up because let's go back to the beginning of the conversation, not necessarily from today, but in general, insulin resistance causes gut issues. It is, remember, we got issues right here. Let's say this issue today is leaky gut. The foundation is insulin resistance. If you're insulin resistant. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like this is the core. So this is why we talk about the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. That's where I started. That's what I teach. Okay. But you've got leaky gut. So then if you go on and you're eating beans and you've already got maybe gut issues, you've already got leaky gut, you've already got digestive issues, that's not going to be your friend. Okay. But they also have what's called an insulinogenic, I can say that 5 times fast, effect. And this is what that means, that it can cause an insulin response beyond what their glycemic index or carbohydrates content would suggest. So they actually are just like, even if it says, so glycemic index will tell you how fast your carbs are going to, how fast your response is going to rise over the next 2 hours. It's still, if you drink apple juice, it's like an IV into your vein. The response is fast, boom, high spike in your blood, just boom, energy now, right? Well, if you are eating something that has a lower glycemic index, it doesn't mean it's not going to rise to the same level. It's just going to take a longer time to get there. Okay. So somebody might say, well, beans have a lower glycemic index, or this for a glycemic index, whatever it is, but this is saying it can cause an insulin response beyond what their glycemic index is telling you. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, it's maybe a little worse than you were thinking. So you had no idea that you were insulin resistant so many years ago that led you to type 2. I know. I hate that so much. Information is better now. You're glad you're here. I know, Carla, you're so sweet. Yes. I forgot to read your other one. You used to make, oh my goodness. You used to, yes. Oh my gosh, you guys, wintertime in Minnesota, super common. 15 bean soup with kielbasa way back in the day. Oh, yum. And it's so good. You weighed 40 pounds more. That was 20 years ago. You used to blend it up and feed it to my boys. They are now 30. I am doing things differently now. Refried zucchini is good. Make them with pork pablo. That is interesting, Carla. Is pork pablo? I'm assuming that is that's a seasoning. I have not heard of that. I would love to know more about that. You got it off ketomaria.com. Thank you, Mary. Yep. So Keto Maria is a better way to say the website. It sounds like smoked ham and beans. I know. I used to do this, you guys. I used to take, because I made everything from scratch when I was raising my kids. And so I thought that I was doing better than the average bear. I thought I was, being a good mama by doing that. Right. But we ate everything white. And so I would take the white navy beans. That has nothing to do with being white. I just would take beans, but they just happen to be navy beans. And I would soak them overnight in my crock pot, like a big, huge thank you for liking. Lovely tea. Thank you for tapping the screen. I so appreciate you. And I would soak them overnight. And then I would have purchased a ham and we would have had ham for a meal, right? Like throughout the week or whatever, like maybe supper and then maybe sandwiches. And then at the very end, I would take that ham bone and I would soak the beans. I would take the beans out. I would refresh the water, put a ham bone in there, and I would let the ham like be in the slow cooker all day long, with the rinsed beans. And then at the end of the day, add in like onions and carrots. And I mean, I just remember this whole process, but it was so yummy. But yeah, I mean, it's a very much of a comfort food, and I understand. And I love how Meg just like, I'm Hispanic. Oh my gosh. Because it is, it's like, there are these cultural things, for Italians, for us Italians, it's pasta, but we did the beans too. So anyway. Oh, panko. Pork panko. Yes. Perfect. Oh my gosh. That is a very good idea. Oh, wow. Yep. So zucchini, yep, with the pork panko, got it, and frying that up. That is nummy. I actually have a zucchini sitting on my counter right now. Smoked ham and beans, I've got that one. Make sure I'm not missing anything. I think we're good. Is almond flour good for you? Sherry, that is a great question. So almond flour is fine. However, like I kind of always say, when you are stalling in your weight, you have to back off the nuts, including nut flours or dairy. So sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's just one. When I do too much almond flour, because I want to eat almond flour all the time because I'm a nut person. So when I eat almond flour in general, my weight just really does stall out. It just does. I mean, because I'm going to overeat it. That's really what the answer is. I'm not going to just have one bar. I'm going to make a pan and I'm going to take it places, and I'll do it for Christmas, and I'll make things and bring things. And I do that in the summer too. Like we made the keto lemon blueberry bars so that I could bring them to a family reunion, and I could bring them to, a birthday party, and because they were that good. But it's easy to overeat. And just think about it when you're eating almonds, and if it's all condensed down into a flour, you're eating that much more. Like it's a concentrated form of almonds. So Italian wedding soup, Julie, hear ya. Oh my gosh, I know. All these comfort foods. We need to make that one differently too, don't we? I wonder if Maria has an Italian soup. Meg just says, oh, Carla, you're killing me. Dip an egg first and add spices to the pork panko. Brilliant. Dip the zucchini. Yep. Mary. That's what she's saying. So you're going to slice your zucchini, dip it in egg, pork panko, fry it in your pan. Dang, that sounds good. Thank you on TikTok. You guys are amazing. So that's the insulinogenic effect. And then the last thing I want to bring up on this is that the lectins and the phytates. So beans just have lectins and phytates. And basically the issue with that is that they irritate the gut and they interfere with nutrient absorption, and they mess with leaky gut. So if we're starting from the premise that insulin resistance is causing gut issues, then further frustrating your gut might not be a happy thing for you, right? And that's why, pat the zucchini dry first. Yeah, you're right, because it's a very wet, it's a wet vegetable. So that's a very good idea. But I feel like this is why I don't have answers for, see you later, Julie. Hi ho, back to work I go. See you later. I don't have answers for people who are vegetarians or vegans and they want to be keto. I don't know how to do it. I haven't studied it. It's not my wheelhouse. Because I don't know how then you would do that and get your protein without meat. I don't know. Like I get all of my protein from meat and eggs. I actually do very little protein powders. People ask about protein powders all the time. I have one in my line that I use for myself. I love it. It's sweetened with stevia. It's amazing. But in general, I don't have protein powders. It's rare for me because I'm not using it as a daily thought process, because I'm making eggs and meat and the egg white bread and things like that. I'm doing other things to get my protein. And if you are vegetarian or vegan, you're choosing a lot of grains. And if you are insulin resistant and trying to do it as a vegan or a vegetarian, I'm sure that people are doing it. And I've said that in my group, like I'm sure. I haven't studied it. So I don't know how to help, because beans and grains, which you would be getting your proteins from, are very high in carbohydrates. So I don't know how to make that balance for somebody who is insulin resistant, and you're trying to get your sugars down, your insulin down, so that you can either avoid type 2, turn back your type 2, or lose weight. So I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure that there are people who do. And there are probably groups for that too. So that's wonderful, because we all need good information for whatever journey we are on, for sure. So just as a little side or a little wrap up on the carbohydrates. So green beans, fine. They're only 7 grams of carbs per cup, but black beans are 41 grams, kidney 40, chickpeas 45, that's your hummus, pinto 45, lentils 40, navy beans 47. And it's just too high. Even your peas are halfway in between. Peas are 21 grams. So jealous you have so many swap out products that you can't get in New Zealand. I know, I'm sorry. Or just way too expensive to get it shipped here, but we'll persist to make it work. And I feel like since I've gone online and created content like this, I have a great appreciation for what I do have access to. Like everybody in America, you have zero excuses. You have zero. Even Canada cannot get the same ingredients off of their Amazon that we can get. Like they can't get allulose like we can get allulose. Like if you live in the United States, you need to not complain ever about the access to ingredients. And I do say it kind of a lot. Listen, almost everything you need in America is at Walmart. There are no excuses anymore. There just aren't. And for anybody who says that it's so expensive to eat real food, that's what they want you to believe. You can eat expensive real food at home, or you can eat budget real food at home. Like this does not have to be, whatever. I mean, even if I go and buy shrimp, frozen shrimp, wild caught shrimp at Walmart, a small bag, and I split it between my husband and I make yesterday in the group, we were talking about the cream Parmesan sauce. And I make a cream Parmesan sauce and put that over the shrimp, and maybe even add in spaghetti squash. Well, that actually was not very expensive. It is horrifically expensive to eat out. And I'm sure it is in every country, but the United States, I would say that eating out has quadrupled in the last 4 years. I'm just going to say quadrupled. I think I'm probably right on that. I was just talking about this with my son. I said, eating out now is it's so cost prohibitive, whether or not you're eating at Culver's, McDonald's, or a sit-down restaurant, it's going to be about $20 a person. That's ridiculous. I can make so much food in my kitchen for $40 in comparison, even though groceries are outrageous. OMG, $120 and you have one little bag. I mean, it's crazy. But be thankful for the ingredients that you have access to in the United States, because it is really good. And that has made me thankful. You left with an accent. You stayed on track. Oh, okay. Hold on. Oh, Robin, so you're gone from Minnesota. You left with an accent. Don't you know? Don't you know? That is so funny. I know I can hear it in myself. I'm from Minnesota. Everything is very well pronounced. That is really funny. Hattie, actually. I know I said Robin, but that's because it says Robinson Hattie. So Hattie. So if I call you Robin, it's interchangeable in my world. You need some kind of bread in the morning. What was your bread that you mentioned? So Lulu, Ohio, nice to meet you. So there's an egg white bread that Maria Emmerich teaches. And if you go to my site, Kirsten Liebelt, KirstenLiebelt, like lie down, belt like you wear, Kirsten Liebelt, but it's liebelt.com. You can find, it's one page, super easy. Scroll up and you'll find a little video tutorial of me teaching that bread. It's like maybe 8 minutes, something like that. It's right there on my site. And I have been making this egg white bread now. It's my own version of it. I mean, there are many, 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 many versions out there in internet land. But I use it all the time for creating, like, I like a sweet bread. So I turn mine into maybe, banana cinnamon or whatever, but you can make it savory. And I like to fry it up in butter and eat it with my eggs. And it's extra protein and it's not grain. It's completely grain-free, sugar-free, and it doesn't spike your sugars. And because it's made out of egg whites, it's really high protein. So that's very, very good news and very helpful. Very helpful. So that's where you can find that. And yeah, I think that was probably it for the beans today. It's so good to chat with you guys. So 2:00 Central Standard Time in the group. We're going to start today. This is day 4. The group is called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And you can jump in there, and every month we go through a 5-day challenge. And the reason why I do this, when I started the group 16 months ago, this is our 16th challenge. I wanted to create a system that was affordable and filled with a lot of value for women to be able to deal with their insulin resistance and actually lose weight, lose fat, learn how to lose fat. Because the programs that are created out there, unless they're created by somebody like a Maria Emmerich, like she's got, meal plans in her 30-day ketogenic cleanse book or whatever, which is perfect. But any of the programs that are just like regular programs that are marketing, like for instance, Weight Watchers or, any system that you're buying all their prepackaged foods. I don't care what the system is. There are many out there. That's all BS if you are insulin resistant, in my opinion. I've not tried them all. I'm not saying it's from experience. I'm just saying it in my brain, in my mind. I'm saying, you know what? Let's learn how to fish. This is so much easier and less expensive than you think it is. Like, let's get on track. Okay. But they want you to think that the providers, the medical matrix wants you to believe that you have to have scripts to do this. And all of the other companies that have programs, they want you to think that you need their program in order to whatever accomplish and have success. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. I didn't do any of that. So what I ended up doing was from somebody who never thought I would trade out my foods in a bazillion years, I started with supplementation. And that's where I start people with in conversation. The trio, 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. You can always put that in the comments on Facebook and YouTube, but on Instagram and TikTok, you have to get into my messages because your stuff goes away when we're done with the live. But that's where I started. And those 3 supplements have helped me to lose 3 sizes in my 50s. And my insulin resistance started when I was young. Like I was in my 20s with gestational diabetes and hypoglycemia and with another pregnancy. And like this started young for me. And so I didn't even start until my upper 40s to deal with this. And started with targeted supplementation, and then I traded out ingredients. So your only investment in this world of my systems or thought process is literally investing in supplementation for yourself to get your engine running, because it's one thing I can't do for you. But then I can teach you ingredient trade-outs. I can teach you recipes. I can teach you mindset. I can help you condense your time. I can help you to have a longer term thought process so that you can be more successful in your journey and not so overwhelmed by the noise that is out there. And so I always tell people, you know what, when you choose targeted supplementation through me, you get me. And that's not being egotistical. I'm just meaning because my own journey, like I really do work with my customers. Like you can message me and ask me questions, and I'm in the group every month and we'll do a free challenge. And the reason why we do it every single month is because after about 30 days, most people are waning in their commitment to themselves, or they've had something happen in the last 30 days, a social event or maybe a tragedy in your life. I had people talking to me about, they got a kidney infection, or somebody died around them, or things that trigger our eating. And then we can go back and do another challenge the next month. So there's always this track. It took me a long time just to be consistent with my darn supplements. Like, I understand when you're not a disciplined person, learning a disciplined routine of supplements, that all by itself can be hard. But we have to learn how to do this without shaming ourselves. We have to learn how to do this while we give ourselves credit for the fact that we're even on content like this, taking in information to better our life. We have to do it while we're moving forward in our mind as well. So Magda is asking, has anyone ever tried chayote? Chayote or chayote. It's a vegetable. It's 9.2 carbs per the whole chayote. She cubes it and uses it as potato substitute, or she peels it and slices it like French fries. I've never heard of this. It's not jicama, is it? You cook it at 400 degrees, 20 minutes. Don't forget to cut in half lengthwise and scoop out the core. Then it's not jicama. Season to your liking. I've never heard of that. Has anybody heard of that? She's spelling it CHAYOTE. Super interesting. Yeah, no, not jicama. Right. I knew when you said scoop it. That must be a squash? Chayote? Is that a squash then? That's super interesting. Thanks for sharing that, Magda. I've never heard of that. Yeah, and Carla says she uses radishes for potatoes and soup. I actually was just going to mention that you can roast radishes. You could literally look up on TikTok. I bet you could put in the search engine roasted radishes and find a lot of really good recipes. That's the correct spelling. Okay, perfect. No, but red radishes boiled turn into potato type texture, and they lose the heat. Fascinating. So if you boil radishes, she's saying, they lose that edge of spiciness and they turn into a potato texture. Fascinating. Interesting, right? And they're super low carb. I don't know if people know that. They're super low carb. So that's an option. See, you just try things out like that and you might be surprised. You might surprise yourself. And over time, there are things that I can make myself that I like much better, way better than my original that I thought I just had to have. Oh my gosh, because it's a childhood memory, because it's what we ate at funerals, because it's what we ate at weddings as Italian people, whatever it was. Like, you have to have that connection, that it's an emotional connection. But then you realize, oh, actually this recipe is better, whatever it is. And I go, oh, okay, well, I'm redefining now what I actually like. Because before I was eating maybe way more mindlessly, just according to like what I was conditioned to appreciate. So we can change those things. Okay, I think I got that. I know I'm missing. I can see that I'm missing comments on stuff. It is what it is, StreamYard. Okay, I think I'm good. But what I do want to say is this. So today is day 4 of the 5-day challenge, and it's in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. You can search that, or you can go to my site, KirstenLiebelt.com, and there's a Facebook blue button, and you can jump in there. So I'm here 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And we just talk insulin resistance. And so all of the content is free. Your investment is into targeted supplementation to change your engine, because I can't do it for you. And it is into your own time and your own thought process, your own willingness to actually go find an ingredient trade out, your own willingness to try a different recipe. That's the coachability part. But I'll tell you, you guys surprise me all the time with your coachability. It's amazing to me. Magda has made massive strides. Anna, who's usually on here, she's completely changed out her pantry. And I know that for a lot of the people that are in my world, this is in the middle of a stressful life that you're doing this. So don't think that other people are doing things and they don't have stress or upheaval in their world. Because I know about things from talking to you guys in the back in my messenger. And so I know that you guys are dealing with stuff, and I know what it's like to stress eat. I took care of a mother with dementia for 5 years. Dementia sucks so bad. So bad. So I do understand all of that. You use an air fryer, not the stove. Magda, thank you for sharing that. So she's saying that she's taking zucchini. Are you talking about zucchini, Magda? Or are you talking about the chayote? You're probably talking about that. Either way, Carla was talking about the zucchini. So whatever that vegetable is, I'll have to look that up, Magda. She's putting that in the air fryer. So that's a very interesting. Thank you. You feel so much calmer eating protein. Yeah, Hattie, you know what? It's a real thing. And I know that it would take, you have to listen to a lot of really good content, like Dr. Kiltz, who's a fertility specialist out of New York, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Eric. We have been very assaulted by by companies that market to us a certain way, so that we actually think that milk is a good idea. No, it's not. It's a really, 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 really bad idea. High sugar spiking, if it's not organic, high chemical, really bad. And again, anything that you take and you condense it down, right? You're getting even more, like they're sucking the bad stuff out of it. But the truth is that meat heals. Meat is very healing. So what we've done for centuries and centuries and centuries was actually the answer. But they've now effectively flipped entire countries to believe that we should be eating crops and grains as our mainstay. Really, when you're insulin resistant because of the overconsumption of carbohydrates over a long period of time, and seed oils and prescription drugs and over-the-counter drugs, we've just messed up our metabolic systems. Our endocrine systems are like shot. Eating all of that, that's like, no, we have to heal now. And so actually for weight loss, blood sugar stability, satiety, nutrient density, one of your most greatest superfoods is actually beef. And that is not the message you're going to get on Good Morning America. And that is not the message you're going to get in any mainstream media, because they do not want you to think that. But if you just go do your own research, and it has a thermogenic, all meat does. I just picked out beef for just to be singular, but meat has a thermogenic effect. That kind of protein, your body actually burns more to digest it, not in a bad way, but in a thermogenic way. And then because it's very, notice the word she used, I feel more calm when I eat protein. So when you are taking in, let's say you eat steak and eggs for breakfast and your blood sugar is stable, how much anxiety do you have? None. Or, depending upon all your circumstances, but in general, not because of the food you ate. But what if you ate something that's really messing up your gut? Like it is contributing to or exacerbating your leaky gut. Do you think maybe you've got anxiousness going on inside? Maybe you're really like churning and you don't know why. Well, let's talk about that with the beans that we were talking about. Beans have lectins and phytates, and they irritate the gut and they interfere with nutrient absorption, and they contribute to leaky gut. So what's happening then is if you're eating anything that is leading to nutrient deficiencies, this is such a basic conversation. And that's why, like, the multivitamin that I take, it's 3 in 1 case. Multivitamin, multimineral, and a phytonutrient plants. And I love the testimony. It's my friend's dad. For 10 years, he couldn't get his sugars into alignment. And he started taking that set of 3 twice a day. And within 4 months, his A1C came down. He went on to lose over 50 pounds because we have nutrient deficiencies. That's why it makes me mad that they keep on giving us scripts. We don't have a prescription deficiency in our body. 0 deficiency of prescriptions in our bodies. We have nutrient deficiencies. So anyway, so that whole protein conversation, I'm telling you, it is literally, it's a weight loss hack. It's a blood sugar hack. It's a feeling a sense of well-being hack. There's a guy on TikTok who's carnivore. He went carnivore for a year. He's young. He's in his 20s. And he said his mental health was phenomenal. Like, he couldn't believe, why would his body respond to that, where his mental health got better? Well, it's because your gut and your brain are connected. And upwards of 90% of your serotonin is created in your gut. So if you are insulin resistant, and he probably was, I don't know that I've ever heard him say that, but he lost like 90 pounds. I mean, he was very overweight. And I know that's not always the connection, but I digress. But when you're insulin resistant, if your gut is messed up, you don't want to further injure your gut, further inflame your gut. That's why I take a gut primer. I took my gut primer this morning. I added my collagen to my gut primer, and I zhuzhed it up with my little frother dealio. And it's like gut, 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 gut. I got my probiotic. And because you want that gut brain access to begin to heal. So I love you're just saying that eating protein makes you feel more calm. So if you go and you have, like, I know Hattie had posted a picture in the group about her dinner out, and it was salmon and asparagus and trying to remember what else you had on your plate. It was really yummy, right? But like pure protein, and then some greens, and just super low blood sugar spiking. And I'm telling you, your mental health can get better. Your anxiety, I should probably not say that word, but it can get better. Your depression, it can get better. It can get better, but you have to choose to stop listening to the marketing of the companies that are telling you that. I mean, honestly, what a scam of all scams, that they have everybody thinking that drinking oat milk at a coffee shop is smart. Scam, scam, scam. They don't give anything about your sugars or your mental health or anything. Oh, it's such a scam. It's so bad. So bad. You've seen Charmaine Dominguez and others on YouTube saying that saturated fat enters the cells and prevents glucose from entering the cells. Honestly, I'm so confused as to who. I know. What are the brands you use? The brands for, oh, yes, your Hattie, your dinner. I understand that. You know what? And there's a balance in the conversation. Boy, I could go off on such a tangent, but this will help you. Can I spell that one more time? What is that, Carla? Do you mean, Carla, the vegetable that she was using? If you mean that, it was CHAYOTE. I'll do this for weight loss conversation, not for that scientific paragraph that you just put there. So, because I know what you're talking about. I'm not confused by that. So much is marketed to us that healthy, that is junk. It's pure trash. We've got to start thinking for yourselves, you guys. We've got to be critical thinkers. We have to be our own advocates. There's such an agenda against our health. And if there wasn't, we wouldn't be more obese and sick and medicated as we are. Rising. There is no decline, only rising because of the things they tell us. Okay, so I'm going to say this from a fat loss perspective. This is why I like listening to Maria and Craig Emmerich, because high-fat keto was developed for people who have epilepsy. Epilepsy. If you're also trying to stave off or turn back Alzheimer's, which I'm not saying that you can, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just saying, for people who are experimenting, high-fat keto, very good, right? Because your brain needs. And the low-fat diet messed us up bad. Okay, having said that, Maria Emmerich doesn't teach high-fat keto. In fact, she'll say, listen, if somebody's telling you to eat 70% of your diet should be fat, run. That is not what we're talking about. Okay. So even in listening to them, what they're talking about, what they teach a lot is called protein sparing modified fast. So on any given day, and she has a free macro calculator, you can go look at that. On any given day, you're very high protein, you're moderate good fat, and then you're very low carb. No net carb conversation to be had. We're not doing anything net, blah, blah, blah. The moderate good fats, your coconut oil and, your butter, etc. Okay. A couple of days a week, because you need your hormones to be happy. You have to have happy hormones. Trust me, women, right? We need happy hormones. A couple of days a week, what she teaches is just edge down that fat just a little bit, only for a couple of days a week. Like, don't do it too much because you need happy hormones. You need a happy brain, but just a couple of days a week to accelerate your weight loss. Get that down, because there is a conversation about that, about you're not trying to overdo the fat if you're trying to lose fat. So that's even way more scientific than I usually even talk, but those are the types of people that do have good information. However, if anybody is teaching low fat all the time, I wholeheartedly disagree. I don't believe that our hormones, our brains, or anything else, teaching that saturated fat is the cause of heart disease is trash talk. That's not what happens. It's all of the ultra processed foods and the seed oils and the sugar and all of the shiz that we have been eating, that they've been telling us to eat and marketing to us for decades to eat. All of the massive amounts of grains in everything we eat, and even including thinking in terms of corn syrup in everything. That is grain sugar that they've infiltrated our food supply with so that we eat it all the time. So I don't know. That's, I do not go out there and study tons and tons of people. I don't. I'm very streamlined. I have one conversation. It's about 500 hours long, and I live in my lane. So I do have a lane, and I know I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. If you are getting your sugars down, if you are getting your insulin down, if you are losing weight, if your A1C is going down, if your mental health is better, if you are less anxious and less sad, and therefore your marriage is getting better and you are aching less and you're on the floor with your grandbabies now and you're sleeping better. If all of these things are happening to you by whatever you're following, God bless you. For real. This is the goal. There's in my universe right here, there is no other goal. Like, that's what we're aiming for. Some people are going to want to do it with different programs or different content. That's perfect. Whatever. Like, there's no way for me to know the wholeness of the content, right? Hold on. I got to take a sip of water. Having said that, the track that I talk to people about is very, 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 very simple. Very simple, very clear. And then when you want more in-depth information, I'll give you those third-party resources. Mine are, haven't even talked about this today. Mine are 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. These are what helped me lose 3 sizes in my 50s. I started these 10 years ago. These are what helped me. That was my base. I teach everybody the same base. I take more. That's not the point. Because I actually became a supplementer and I never was. I start with that. And then I say, okay, now let me teach you ingredient trade outs. And then let me give you a 5-day challenge every month in a group so that we can do this every single month and you can stay the course, stay the course, stay the course. Yesterday, Kim was on here. Yesterday, Kim was on live. I think it was yesterday, a couple of days ago. She's been doing this for 6 months straight. She's lost 17 pounds. Every month she gets the trio and she incorporates another nugget and another nugget. That is literally the simplicity of what I teach, because I am so aware of the noise. I'm so aware of the overwhelming information. I keep my lane You know, it's like when you drive, you're taught, keep your hands on 10 and 2, 10 and 2. For you guys, it would be 10 and 2, right? 10 and 2, 10 and 2. That's me in a nutshell. Here's my 10 and 2 for you. I got a lane, and people either resonate with my or they don't. Perfect. Because I'm so glad that anybody who is teaching how to turn back around insulin resistance and punch in the face the medical providers who only want to give us scripts, I love all of them. I love everybody. Okay, fine. I'll just say it because I said it yesterday already. Give them the finger. Tell them you don't need their services anymore. I'm not saying just dump your scripts. Please don't ever think I'm saying that. I'm not stupid and I'm not a doctor. But work with your provider and get off of meds because you can. I have somebody taking this summer off of 2 high blood pressure meds, off of 2. Because when you deal with this, which is called insulin resistance, which is the right underneath everything else, like insulin resistance is right here. And when you deal with that, you finally can turn back aching, joint aching, brain fog, high BP, heart issues, all sorts of things. It's all the insulin resistance is the beginning of the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. Start here. And then you're going to start to see other things. And then give yourself a permission. The last piece of my system, if that's what you want to call it, would be give yourself permission to go on a journey and don't shame yourself. You have had messages given to you as a child. You've had products marketed to you all day, every day, like literally. I mean, I suppose if there was a stat, which I don't know what there is, you probably have something marketed to you every 3 seconds. Like you're living in a different world, and they are not confused as to what they're marketing. They're not confused. I had something. Hold on, I'm having a memory. Oh, I should have written it down or something. It was actually a commercial because I watched something on, do you guys know what Tubi is? Tubi. It's a TV. It's an app on your TV, and it's free TV, whatever. And because I don't see commercials hardly ever, because I don't watch TV hardly ever. And I was watching something and it came up and I was just like, oh, I wish I could remember what it was. I don't know that that's going to come to me right now, but I'm telling you what, the marketing of the PHARMA, holy shnikey. Do you know that used to not be legal? That they couldn't create commercials about their PHARMA, and now they can? We got to change what we're listening to and believing. Oh, good morning. Good stuff. Thank you. You're pre-diabetic, eating low carb, meat, vegetable, minimal fruit, and your A1C hasn't budged. Okay, well, that is Dyer Family Farm. No, that is a very common message. This is like the most common message I ever get. I'm pre-diabetic. I'm eating low carb, meat, vegetable, minimal fruit, and my A1C hasn't budged. That is so common. You have no idea how common that is. I eat healthy. I eat clean. I eat low carb. There is a difference between what Maria Emmerich teaches and what I teach, and hers is even more strict than me because she's dealing with different stuff. And what society will tell you what is low carb. If you are diabetic and you go to a diabetic nutritionist in the hospital, they will tell you you can have 150 grams of carbs a day. They are lying to you. Now, I'm not saying that person is a liar. I'm just telling you that information is meant to keep you sick and medicated. There, I said it. I said it out loud. That's their goal, is to keep you sick and medicated. Okay. In my opinion, and that's a joke. Your A1C will never budge with that, right? But even let's just say you're like, no, I don't do 150 grams of carbs a day. I do 50. Well, then I'm going to say that's not low enough. Maria would teach 20 to 30. Not net. Get net out of your conversation in your brain. It's not going to help you. Not only that, but like when you say fruits, literally the only, and I am not type 2. The only fruit I eat are berries. Everything else is too high sugar. And as long as you keep spiking your sugars, you will not turn this around. Now you are on Instagram, so you are blessed and highly favored, because on Instagram, actually, there's a pink highlight bubble at the top of my page and it says testimonies. Go and look at those and encourage your heart. Those are the testimonies about the trio. They're the testimonies about these. So for people who are like, my A1C wouldn't budge, and I was doing both meds and supplements, like because I have an actual testimony like this: meds, supplements that were like berberine. I don't have berberine. It's just not in my wheelhouse. And I was eating, low carb. I was following their diet, could not get my A1C to budge, or could not get a pound to be lost, could not get my morning sugars down. Started taking the trio, and within 2.5 months, morning sugars dropped 30 points and lost 14 pounds. Those are the kind of testimonies, but you have to not take it from me. You have to take it from people who were in a position similar to you. And then you can be encouraged in your heart. Okay. So that's what I would recommend. Oops, hold on. Yeah, you thought 50. I know. You do. Okay. So Hattie is saying she does 20 carbs and she's never hungry. Amen. And you shouldn't be hungry. You should not be hungry. And then you were saying you thought that 50 carbs were low. I know. I'm aware. I know. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news or anything like that, but I'm telling you, I just wish that people could know what I know on the other side of how good you can feel. I know we have these connections. You only eat berries. Perfect. Good job. That's very good. Actually, most people don't mean that when they say they eat minimal fruits. That's not what they mean usually. Every time you have blood sugar issues, you realize you're not moving enough. For me, walking is huge. That's very good to know. Yep. Before you eat a first meal and after last meal, at least 15-minute walk, ideally 30. That's awesome. Walking is very helpful. Yeah. Lulu, the trio are these supplements right here, these 3 right here. You can go to my, let's see, because you're on TikTok, so life is different over there. You can do a couple of different things, Lulu. Up here's my profile. If you touch my face, it'll come up right here, and you touch my face again, it takes you out of the live into my profile. When you do that, you'll see there's a number on there that you can text me, and you can say, hey, you talked about this trio on live. Will you send me a cart? I'll just send you a direct link, all 3 of them in one place. Or jump over, there's an Instagram icon, push that, touch that, and it'll take you over, it'll portal you right over to Instagram. And then at the top of my profile, there's a pink testimony button. You can look at that, or you can just go right into you can message me right there. And because I can't send things in TikTok, I can't send links or anything. I can't send information. So we're kind of blocked a little bit until they change their world in communication. So that's how you can get information on that. I think I missed something else. First time here, Dyer Family Farm. Very, very cool. Nice to meet you. Vicky, type 2 on insulin and have muscle cramps. You're a warrior. You're taking ashwagandha drops with water at night and berberine 500 milligrams. Okay, so Vicky, are those helping you? Or like, if it is not broke, don't fix it, right? That's good. I do take ashwagandha. I very much trust the ashwagandha that I take. If anybody needs an ashwagandha, it literally has, it has shifted me since May, like in a lot of really good ways. Like it has helped me in so many ways. It's certified organic. It's in pill form, capsule form. I take 1 in the morning and 1 at night. It's transformed my sleep, my sense of well-being. Like ashwagandha is amazing. My biggest concern with ashwagandha is that they are because things are not regulated, they're too high of doses. Anyway, it helps. Good for you. Good for you. That's wonderful. Yep. Oh, she lost volume. Anybody else lose volume on Instagram, or are we okay? I would love to know. Berries only for you. Yep. I know. And you know what? It seems like, I know. I get it. as you're making your transitions and you are trading out ingredients and recipes, I mean, I thought it too, right? Like I was rewarding myself with sweet potato fries. Ask me how I know all of the stuff I talk about. So I get it. And you feel like, oh, everybody else gets to, or whatever, and we have all of these thoughts in our head. But the truth is that now that I have, walked a journey and lost 3 sizes and I feel so freaking good all the time, I just am not willing to trade how good I feel. And I don't mean just that I don't ache, which I don't ache, but not just that. It's something that I don't know how to describe inside. And the only reason why I know that it exists so well, why I feel so balanced, is because I know the feeling of imbalance in perimenopause, and that there's anxiousness and sadness and like just kind of a churning and and you're waking up in the middle of the night and your thoughts are racing and all of that hot mess express. Because I experienced that, now I know what it feels like to feel like this. That's why when that young man who lost like 90 pounds on carnivore, he's in his upper 20s, talking about his mental health getting better. People, come on. I'm not carnivore, by the way, but I find that a fascinating conversation for people who, if you churn inside and you've got stuff going on, and I am telling you what, you can shift that. You can shift it. So you got the volume back. Okay, good. Very, very good. So you guys, you know what? I am going to go live at 2:00 Central Standard Time in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. If you want to start your journey right now and you're like, I don't want to sabotage myself anymore. I want to actually take a step of action. I want to actually be in a different place before, Halloween hits, Thanksgiving hits, Christmas hits, New Year's hits. Like I want to start now. I don't want to wait. Reach out to me. Put Trio in the comments if you are on Facebook, and I'll get you a cart with all 3 of them in it. Instagram, you have to get into my messages. TikTok, you have to either text me or go jump over to Instagram and get into my messages, because I can't send things on TikTok. It's just the way that it is. And all of your comments on TikTok and Instagram will disappear when I'm done with my live. So that's why I have to do it that way. But don't delay. Don't delay. You can be in a different place. And literally, your only investment is into a monthly routine, and all of the other content and help and support and encouragement is free. There is no price for a program. That's what I love the most for a lot of people, because most people can't afford a program. And I don't want you to sit around and eat processed food thinking you're doing something smart for yourself. I want you to actually learn how to fish. So let's do that. So today we're going to do targeted supplementation in the group. I hope to see you there. I have an appointment coming up in 15 minutes. So I'm going to go prep for my appointment. And then I will see you at 2:00 Central Standard Time in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Have such a good day, you guys. Be very blessed, and always, always, always have hope and encouragement in your heart, because this is reversible. This is not a terminal diagnosis. Don't you ever forget that. Okay? See you later.